It's setting up your meeting. Okay, I should be live now. Beautiful. Awesome. Okay, I'm able to see the LinkedIn. Excellent. Okay. You guys able to see me? Beautiful. Okay. Are you able to see me on LinkedIn, guys? Okay, let me double check. Yes. Beautiful. You guys able to see me? Okay. Bunch of echoes. Okay. Beautiful. I think we are live. Hello, everyone. I'm Sudha Jamthe, and this is our holiday session of Weekly WED at Business School of AI. And I do this once a year, and it's a beautiful way to wrap up the year and get us ready for the holidays and the new year. And this is the holiday learning guide. And for those of you who are going to come back, watch this on LinkedIn or on our recording when we share on our newsletter, feel free to add a comment and follow up, okay? And I hope you'll have a beautiful, beautiful learning session, okay? And if you are especially new, I want to welcome my students. And I see the LinkedIn, it actually shows me just the numbers. And we are streaming this on YouTube also. And I have a set of people here on Zoom. Okay, since we are recording this, those of you who are on Zoom, you will get into the recording if you speak up or you come on camera. So if you don't want to be in the recording, feel free to mute yourself and add your questions to the chat. And I'm joining here from Silicon Valley. And in the chat, you can say where you're coming from. Okay, I see some people saying that already. Okay, awesome. I'm a technology futurist and educator. And I want to welcome my students from Stanford, from Barcelona Technology School, from LinkedIn Learning, from my many courses, and here from Business School of AI. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to share a deck. Let us see. Okay. Okay. Are you guys able to see this in the full screen properly, or should I put it in slide share mode? Okay, beautiful. Okay, awesome. Okay, and I teach AI and AI ethics. And I have already taught Internet of Things before. I've taught courses on autonomous vehicles. So this is not going to be limited to one technology, but primarily it's going to be a lot of AI because that's where the interest is. But if you are looking at something else, if it is within my purview, I will be happy to help you. So feel free to add a comment. Awesome. Okay, let me move forward here. Okay, so I'm going to skip my intro. So AI impacts literally every possible industry in every possible country. So the impact of AI is so pervasive, and it's doing good and it's also doing bad. So wherever you're coming from, whatever industry you're coming from, whatever role you play, you have a place in AI. So I'm going to cover about AI, and it's going to be a very big part of your learning plan. So I'm going to focus on AI unless somebody says, hey, I'm looking at this self-driving car industry and automotive, or I'm looking at a specific in connected devices, but it will be, all about AI today. Okay. Okay, so again, I have students from various different functions. You could be a data scientist, you might be working in product or design, or you might be working in developer network, or you might be in HR or marketing, digital transformation, lot of programs in Barcelona Technology School where I teach AI ethics. It's all about digital transformation. Or you could be a policymaker like my colleague here, right here on the Zoom, Deepika. So, and customer support, we see a lot of chatbots. So you might be in any different role, and you have a role to play with AI. You could be, again, in AI, working in AI, or have taken some courses in AI, or you might be, career pivoting into AI. You might be a newbie, you might be an experienced person, doesn't matter. This is for you. So the best way to build out a holiday plan is ask 3 questions to yourself. And based on what level you are at in the AI world, if you have taken some courses, or you might be thinking, okay, I'm going to have a busy holiday season, I don't have much time, I might want to take some courses. Where do I get started? Many of you might have come here thinking I'm just going to give you a list of courses. I'm going to give you a lot of resources. But I'm not just going to give you a bunch of courses, because you have a lot of people on LinkedIn who just say, these are the set of courses on AI that is coming from Google. This is coming from Microsoft. And and there's a whole bunch like that. People just collate a list. I don't think that's useful, because it's just overwhelming. I know many of you have said that you collect a list of these courses, bookmark them, buy even a few of these courses if they're not free, and then you end up not having time to complete them, or don't know that whether you should have taken this other course, or if you're finished taking some courses, you still feel like you don't have the confidence or the project portfolio to show in the job mode. So the starting point, I believe, should be to ask yourself 3 questions, and we'll go through that, and then I will get into a bunch of specific courses and how to arrive at that, what is right for you. Again, I've given a broad sweep of my students, and those of you who have taken my course know that my classes have a mix of students, because that's the reality in industry, right? You have people from various different roles come together to learn AI. Okay, so let me see where my thing is looking here. One second. Okay. Okay. So the first thing is you actually say, what are the top skills? What are your top skills? So what do you bring to the table? So where are you starting from? The second thing is, what do you actually bring to the world? So the skills should be that I know Python, I know data management, things like that. I might know customer service, things like that, right? And the second thing is to actually say, okay, what is it that I bring to the world? Remember, I said AI can do good or bad. And so what is it that you bring to the world? What do you have unique skills? Do you have unique capabilities that you bring to your company? Or do you bring to the world, the way you're thinking about that? And then the final piece is, what is it that you're passionate about? Is there a problem you want to solve? And if those of you who have taken my course the last year, the same holiday learning plan last year, if you remember, I was saying you can start learning AI from starting from a particular technology, computer vision, NLP, and that kind of thing. And we covered a lot of Gen AI. It could be like a starting point of some technology you become passionate about, you play with some technology, and that's how you get started. Or you could come from a specific industry, or you could, come from wanting to solve a specific problem. So now I'm assuming many of you who are from there are already done some courses, done some work, and like many of my students, you have career pivoted. So in this world where we are today, it's not just about, okay, I want to pick a technology, what is happening in my industry. Things are happening so fast, and you want to actually focus and utilize your time well. So if this part about whether you're passionate about a specific problem, that holds good. Outside of that, you bring specific skills, you bring specific capabilities, could be soft skills, or a knowledge, or a relationship with the customer base, that kind of thing. Think about these 3 things, okay? That should be your starting point. Okay, so then you can begin learning AI, and you can pick any technology, or any particular industry, right? But what I would say is, I'm going to give you like a 3-step guide here. So this holiday season, at the end of everything that I'm recommending today, and hopefully you'll have a conversation and we'll make this fun. I want you to pick a topic, and I'm going to help you figure out how to pick the topic that's right for you. And I'll give you some resources when we get there. But my recommendation is you should just learn one topic in 1 hour or 60 minutes. Don't get too crazy about, I'm going to take a bunch of these courses, or I'm going to sign up for something that's going to take like many hours and it's many series and things like that. Because during the holiday season, if you're able to pick a topic and just invest 1 hour, I think that's enough. But picking the topic, and I'll tell you what do you do with the topic, how do you actually build yourself to get to that place if you're looking for a job that you're going to apply in the new year, or if you're going to build on this to pivot in your career, do something with this, or you're building a startup, it could be anything, right? That 60 minutes, 1 hour is enough. And many of you have come from LinkedIn, from my courses. So, LinkedIn Learning has bunch of courses, and, they're all like, edited out to closer to 60 minutes. There are even lesser than 60 minutes courses, but I would recommend at least a 1 hour course, since my courses are 1 hour, right? And I have the URL for my courses down here. Okay. So the next challenge is, okay, talking of AI, right? There's so many types of AI. Maybe last year's I used to say you have to know how AI works regardless of your job function. I still hold on to that because that's very important to be able to do your job, to go deeper, right? And then, about the various models and jargons, and, are we doing RAG or fine tuning? What does this mean? And if you're on the business side or product side, you say, okay, this is going to cost me money. How do I think about that? How do I create business value from all this? If I'm looking at ethics, then how do I think about the bias and transparency or explainability, right? And a whole bunch of things. And maybe there are different kind of applications that you want to build. So again, if you say, okay, if I pick a topic, there are so many different options here, right? So many different topics. So if this resonates with you, please feel to, give a thumbs up if you're watching on LinkedIn, or add a comment. Is there like, some particular topic you said, oh, I'm going to find out, and you feel like you've learned something and you still don't know AI, you don't have the confidence when you're talking to a data scientist, and, you've done courses already. Maybe you've done a whole, college level course somewhere. Okay. Um, so what I would suggest, so to pick the topic, again, what you have to do, again, go back to what is your superpower? You know to ask questions. It doesn't matter what your job role is. I gave you a list of job roles when you got started and said you could be doing any of them, or there could be something that I have not listed there. Feel free to add in your chat and comments, okay? So what is your superpower? You know to ask questions. Especially if you've taken my course, that's all we do. Like, we build questions and ask questions and build and go on to build the right AI to arrive at problem statements, right? Okay, especially if you're working on value creation from AI, and even if you're building a Python notebook and you're doing some machine translation, what LLM am I going to use? What a data set am I going to use? There's a lot of questions. So your superpower is to ask questions if you're working with AI. And so I would say you start with a question. And how do you come up with that question? How do you figure out, what is the right thing? Okay. And hi, Mark. Good to see you. I see a bunch of people here in the new people here. Okay. Okay. So let me give you an example. So you're somebody, when we did the first three questions saying, okay, what do I care about? What is my passion, or what skills do I bring? And if you care about customer experience, and especially in the Gen AI world, you see a lot of chatbots and saying, okay, it can help with customer experience. And so, how do I build a chatbot? There are courses about ChatGPT and Gemini, and we have covered courses here about Vertex AI. Or how do I build the chatbot? I have students saying, okay, how do I build that chatbot to create value for a specific industry or a specific use case? So I thought I would pick this as the question, right? If you say one of the three questions is, hey, I care about customer experience, I work in customer support, or I work in some business function, but I want to build a chatbot maybe. So don't go with chatbot and that is going to be my technology, right? So take a step back and say, okay, I care about the customer experience. Okay, if that is what you're picking, this is an example of how you can ask a question. And I'm going to go through this example and teach you how to pick that particular technology, find your resources, and that kind of thing. Okay. And if you have a different area, skill, out of the 3 questions that I was telling you, what do you bring to the table? What are your skills? What do you bring to the world or your company? What do you care about? What are you passionate about, right? And if your answer is something else, add it in the chat, and I'm happy to, answer that also, right? So if you say, okay, broadly, whatever our job function, even if you're building a product, you say, hey, I care about customer experience. If you're actually providing support, obviously that, leads to customer experience, because retaining our customer is about, giving the optimal customer experience. In fact, I was talking to someone in my team recently about how they wanted to work in product management. And I had a person from marketing who came from product management. And so I was saying it is, thinking about the flow the customer is going to take. So think of, you're going shopping in this holiday season, and you start from a certain place, and then you want to go through the optimal conversion. And or if it could be from a marketing path, if you're clicking and this is your traffic and this is how you're coming, and then you're going towards a call for action. Or it could be you're creating a product and you're creating the customer experience. Or it could be an AI product, and now how do I create the customer experience? And some of you might have taken my course this year, beginning of this year, where we did for a design program, how do we create the customer experience from AI while you're thinking about this as UX design. So we did this exercise of what is the AI that you're building? Now, is the AI actually an inference AI or training AI that is being integrated into the product? Based on that, what is the customer experience? So when you go build a product, this could be the first time you're collecting information from the customer. Then you go off and run some training, and then you come back, and with the inference model, you're actually creating a different experience, and the customer is, you're recognizing their face, you're recognizing their behavior and giving recommendation, or even, it could be the Gen AI chatbot, all kinds of things. So if you care about customer experience, what is the one technology you should learn in the Gen AI world? So type your answers in the chat. I'm just going to get off the share. I want to see what people are saying here and also on LinkedIn. Okay. Okay, I see some comments here. While talking to an AI startup founder, what are the 3-4 questions to help them give all the details about the product and company? Asking since founders don't like too many questions. Okay, I will answer that in a minute. So I want to see from people here who are on chat an answer to the question I asked. So and I already posted this on LinkedIn, so some of you might have seen that. So if you care about customer experience, what is the one technology you should learn in the Gen AI world? And some of you have taken my Gen AI course. Some of you have taken, my Agent AI course. Some of you have taken Agent AI or Gen AI, different aspects of it from other places also, right? So knowing the technology, and then I gave you a big list just now, before we figured out there's too many technologies. What do we learn? So if you care about customer experience in the Gen AI world, what you should be learning, the one technology that you should really learn. It doesn't matter whether you're a product person or business person or a data scientist, any role. One important thing that you need to know is this particular technology. Anybody? Okay. I'm going to go, and you can add. And there's no bad answers, guys. Don't worry if you're feeling like, I don't know if this is right. Okay. We are going to have a discussion, and then we will figure out. Okay. So if you care about customer support, customer experience, not customer support. Okay. I'm saying specifically you want to know what is the experience of the customer. Based on that, I'm going to do something, right? And what is the one Gen AI technology you should learn. Okay. And for those of you who are on LinkedIn, if you don't want to introduce yourself, that's okay. I see you on the live. Just add a comment to share your answer. And I just gave a laundry list of potential technologies. If you want me to, do you want me to go show that list again, guys? Trying to learn more about reliable and trustworthy AI. How can we prevent hallucinations or detect when they occur? That's a very good question, Mark. So hallucination is a very natural part of NLP, and especially with Gen AI products that are built on LLM. So there's a lot of framework. So if you're thinking about trustworthy AI, there's a lot of frameworks. In fact, every technology company has a framework for trustworthy AI. I will add some links here for specific trustworthy AI frameworks. But if you're looking at preventing hallucination, there are specific techniques. So if you use a RAG system, you obviously get to control that a little bit. So with RAG framework, what you do is you use your own data source instead of just relying on what the LLM knows. So when the LLM is giving you an answer, you get a citation of where it is finding that information from. And you can actually build in hallucination prevention in your flow. For example, if you're going to Amazon and you're shopping and you ask a question, Rufus, the chatbot, you will find that it's taking your question, it's giving you an answer. But between the point it's taking the question to when it is giving the answer, it is going through a whole RAG system, which will be their inventory database, your behavioral database, and all that stuff, right? And it's connecting back to the recommendation systems. But if you ask something that it doesn't have, chances are it'll hallucinate and make up an answer. That's what hallucination is in the Gen AI world. And so you will have validation systems that compares the answers to what is the source and whether that source is legitimate, because it can even make up a source. That has been in the news, where it will, if you ask something, the AI doesn't know it, it will give a confident answer. Gen AI will give an answer, a chatbot. And when you say what are the sources for this, and it will make up some research papers or citations that might not exist. So you bake in a backend system where you verify the sources to make sure it is coming from your company database, from your own sources, and you verify that. So there are multiple hallucination validation techniques that is kind of part of the framework of building a chatbot. Not sure if I know the Gen AI tech. Okay, Umer is answering my question. Thank you, Umer. Let me see. Not sure if I know the Gen AI tech, but I would like to have an agent that can use unstructured and structured customer data to provide customer insights and analysis to improve experience. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so you want to have an agent AI that can use structured and unstructured data to provide customer insights and analysis. Okay, so that's a valid answer. So improve to provide customer insights and analysis. So one answer to the question, if you care about customer experience, what one Gen AI technology you would use? And Umer's answer is an agent. And it is going to look at customer unstructured and customer structured data, which is the RAG framework that I was telling you about. To use your own customer data, you would do that using RAG. So Umer is saying, hey, I will use RAG and make this agent go look at customer data and provide insights and analysis. Beautiful. So one answer I've got is RAG with my own data, right? That is one of the answers, Umer, in a roundabout way. That's what I'm, gleaning out of this. And also you want to do this using an agent, right? So agent AI and a RAG system that will access your customer data is Umer's answer. So you absolutely need this. So if you're going to give a customer experience, then you absolutely need to have that. But I'm looking for something more, something else. So even if you have a RAG system that will access your customer data and you have an agent that is going to get insights from there, analyze there, and it is going to improve your customer experience, you need one more thing, specifically in the Gen AI world. And I was answering Mark's question about, hallucination, and there are some hallucination uh, detection techniques that I have covered in my Gen AI book. If anybody wants, specific chapters or content, I'm happy to give it. I believe I've covered Gen AI techniques in my no-code generative AI course at for business professionals at LinkedIn Learning. And I think I put that resource. It's just a 1-hour course. You should be able to access that. Okay. So I have not answered Ananya's question about 3-4 questions to uh, ask founders about their product and company. It is, a broader question. So Ananya, I'm kind of parking it, and I will talk to you towards the end or offline, but hold me accountable to get you that, because I want to give people uh, this framework on how you pick one technology. You study for 1 hour, you could take a course, you could watch a YouTube video, you can get a friend to help you understand this, but invest 1 hour. And we're talking about how do you pick that technology, and there's so many different technology. So, and again I said, okay, ask 3 questions and pick one technology. And the 3 questions was, what are you good at? What do you bring to the table? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do with all this, right? What's your area of specialty and passion? And then we looked at multiple technologies. So I'm going to share that screen back again if anybody wants a refresher on the variety of different technologies that is out there in the in this world, right? In this world of Gen AI. Let me see. Am I sharing? No, I'm not sharing yet. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sharing in full screen mode. So one answer I got was, to be able to access structured and unstructured customer data and draw insights, and to have an agent. Good point. I don't have agents listed here. So you want to build an agent too. And, it could have hallucinations. You want to learn about hallucinations. And Mark was asking about hallucination detection and prevention techniques. So those are all good things that you want to learn, right? There is specifically, if you are focused on customer experience, whether you're coming from marketing or business side or product side, you could even be a lawyer, doesn't matter, any job function. This one technology you have to learn. Think about it. You're talking to several chatbots, right? And it is showing me, it could be hallucinating, right? It could be fetching information from your customer database. It's funny this time when I'm doing this, guys, I'm not able to see my face. I'm able to see people, and you are off camera. And then for some reason, I'm seeing Deepika's, just D in here. Okay. Other question here is, okay. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for confirming that. You can see me. Awesome. Thank you, Suresh. Okay. So learning how to write prompts, that is a general skill in the Gen AI world. But like when this whole Gen AI thing started, prompt engineering was the big thing. And now there's a lot of prompts that then this became like prompt design and everything else, right? And then finally, prompt engineering, in my perspective, is not, just one of those hot fields that you have to learn these days. But to your point, when you're building, say you're building a chatbot that is talking to your customer, like the Rufus chatbot that is giving recommendation on a e-commerce site. So you need RAG, you need to, get your data, structured and unstructured data that it goes fetches. You need to check for hallucination. Prompts, I see an answer from Ananya saying, multi-shot prompts. if you're building a chatbot, you're creating a customer experience, prompting is important. In fact, one of the things that's happening in this whole automation with agents is you see uh, the customer is prompting, essentially chatting, right? And then the customer gets a response back. So this gets translated from this unstructured chat from the customer to a prompt from where the answer is fetched by the LLM. So it is generated into a prompt on the back end in that whole e-commerce architecture example I was giving. So yes, good prompts is an important skill. It could be a multi-shot prompt, yes, but that is one of the technologies. But business person, product person, anybody working, we're talking chatbots and RAG. So let's say, okay, you're building a chatbot using some LLM, and your customer is going to have that interface chatting with your chatbot, which could be providing customer support. It could be any number of, you forgot your password, you want to cancel your hotel reservation, you're getting your e-commerce recommendation. It could be anything, right? And it could be a dealer trying to say, what's my inventory? The customer wants this blue car with the sunroof, and I need it quickly. It could be any kind of chat. It could be a B2B customer. It could be anything, right? So what's the one technology? And I can see many of you here who are my students. I can see people who have worked with me, people who have taken this particular, technology. This is part of my Gen AI courses. It's part of my Agent AI courses. The specialized courses just on this and this particular technology. The You could learn it at a very technical level using a Python notebook to actually do this, like RAG, right? You could be a business person who's actually creating the data set necessary to do this technology. So what is that? Anything else left? Think about it, guys. You're building a chatbot. What would be a starting point? Say you build this, right? Your starting point, you might say, hey, I'm going to figure out the use case. To Ananya's point now, you're talking to a startup founder who's let me go back to your exact question, okay? Because I like to answer all questions and you have to hold me accountable. So, um, startup founder, 3-4 questions about the detail of the product. So the company, I would see what is the team funding, culture, and all that kind of thing for a startup. For AI startup, I would like to see uh, what is the technology they have, what is the problem they're solving, who is the customer segment they are solving, what stage are they in, and what is their IP. In the past, when we used to build technologies, it was done by engineers, building the technology. With AI, AI is built using data. So it becomes important on what data are they using. Are they using, ethical data? Do they have access to the data? If they're building some language translation product and they don't have enough access and it's a low resource language, then I would question that, right? So what data they're using, how ethical, if it is not ethical, I think it's important to be ethical, but if you don't have ethical data, it's going to hallucinate. It is going to throw things that is going to create business risk. Actually, by answering Ananya's question, I've given you a clue on what this Gen AI technology that you all have to learn, know, whatever your job function is if you're going to be working in Gen AI. So Ananya has a comment, detecting customer emotion during present conversation. Okay. So we had actually done an emotion AI webinar here a couple years back, and being able to understand emotion and saying that technology can do that is a myth. So you could set a certain tone for your conversation. If that's what you mean, I think it's fine. If you actually try to say, I'm going to understand the customer's emotion, and based on that, I'm going to do better, service or better recommendation, that's not possible, right? It comes with a loaded set of biases. And I have, if you want, you can go and see the Emotion AI webinar in our weekly web archive here, and it's on YouTube also, if and as a playlist if you want to see where to go. So emotion AI, or trying to actually understand customer emotion, is like a field that is not proven logically, so it brings up people's bias. So I would recommend, I would, caution against that. But if you're saying, hey, I'm going to build a chatbot, even if you try to build a GPT, OpenAI had come up with, hey, you can build GPTs very easily, which was not with RAG and everything. In the beginning, this was a big thing, like a whole, you can say, you can build your own GTP, drag and drop. I've done this in one of my courses too. And you said the tone of the chatbot was one of them. So if you're saying by emotion, you're thinking about, what is the tone of the customer? Is the customer being angry? I want to set up the right tone, so the chatbot is going to be polite. So if you're setting the tone of the chatbot in response to customers' prompts, that is a good one, and we're getting very close. I think Ananya has gotten close to what I'm getting at. So if you want to understand what the customer is asking you, and you want to set the right tone for your chatbot, okay? So the answers I've got so far is you look for hallucinations, have hallucination prevention. That's something that you could learn. You're actually building something with where the chatbot is going to create prompts on the back end. So you want to learn prompt engineering, multi-shot prompts. That's good. You're going to use your own customer data to reduce hallucination, and and use proprietary data, that is your customer data, and it could be structured and unstructured data. So to access that, you would be using a RAG framework. You want to automate this, so you're building some agents. So these are all the technologies I have heard so far. So for those of you who are joining late, coming in and saying, what is the holiday plan? I'm not just giving you a laundry list of courses to take. That's a disservice to you. I would actually look cool if I just give you a big organized set of courses and say, if you're of this background, that background, here are the courses, and send you home. You might even go buy a few of them. But my goal is to get you to learn AI at a fundamental level, whatever stage, wherever you are, whether you've already taken AI courses from somewhere else, and you want to get to apply it and get a job, career pivot, go make your investment, do all kinds of things, right? So the question we've been covering is, you start, and so one of the things I started with is, you pick one technology, spend 1 hour and learn the technology. And we're saying, how do you pick that technology? By asking questions. And the question I asked was, if you're focused on customer experience, what one Gen AI technology you have to learn regardless of your job function. So for those of you who are arrived at prompt engineering and RAG, that's all good. If that's a technology you don't have, if that's what you want to pick, no problem, go ahead. But there is one technology I believe you have to learn if you have to successfully build a chatbot for customer experience, whether it is for marketing or a dealer access in a B2B setting, all the different examples I gave you, right? For it to actually work. So you could have somebody who knows RAG, somebody who knows, okay, so I'm seeing some technologies, I'm seeing some coding languages showing up here on the chatbot. So you are thinking about, okay, what coding language do I use? So I need that, right? I say see some R, and if you're going to do some data processing, maybe you need different technologies, right? So there could be a language you might want to learn, a programming language you want to learn, certain kind of agents framework that you want to learn, certain RAG framework you want to learn, prompt engineering that you want to learn. My question was, what is that one technology every one of you have to learn in the Gen AI world, regardless of your job function? So I'm hearing, if you're programming, I got some answers. If you're looking at product management, I got some answers. But business person, programming person, product person, somebody who's engaging with customers, you don't want to lose your customers if I'm going to give a chatbot to a customer. Yes, reducing hallucination is good. So having RAG system is good. Making sure that that is secure is good. There's one more. And shall I give you the answer, guys? Yeah. So the answer is, if you want to set the tone of the, so another comment here is, how do you find the right LLM for customer domain, for an ethical AI? Okay, I'll get to that. So, and very good questions, Ananya. This is awesome. I know, my students have the superpower of asking questions. So that's exactly how you should go. So, Ananya, I've actually covered how do you find the right LLM for specific customer problems as part of my GenAI course. So you actually have to figure out whether you want open source or closed domain, a very specialized small language model or large language model. And if you're thinking about it being ethical, some of the AIs, what source data sources they've been built on are more unethical than the others. Most of them, are all unethical to some extent because they're built on, data that they don't own. But there's a checklist that you can look at for picking the right LLM. But it can also depend on the kind of application you're trying to build. That's the way you think about the LLM. So if you want to see how do I pick the right LLM, that could be the course for you also, right? And so coming back to answer my question, the answer I was looking for is, regardless of what we are trying to do, the one technology that you all need is fine-tuning. So you must have seen, hey, should I do RAG or fine-tuning? In the past, that was a thing. Now you need RAG to access the customer data, but you do fine-tuning. And can anyone tell me what is fine-tuning? I'm going to look at the chat here. I see more questions. Integrations. Yes. That's a very good topic also, right? So to build this chatbot, you need the specific language, you need access to the data, you need maybe to build an agent, you need hallucination prevention, you need to understand RAG framework, you need to know how to pick the LLM for the backend. You might want to know, where does this fit in? So in this Amazon Rufus example, it is integrating into their existing systems. One of my newer LinkedIn courses that I'm working on is about how to integrate into multiple data sources and how to get data insights and build GenAI products. So we have moved away this year from GenAI as just foundation knowledge of GenAI to actually how to build chatbots, to actually looking at multiple data sources, which is a big problem in enterprise because, the data might be sitting in multiple different systems that don't talk to each other. How do you glean insights from that? So there's a product, Notebook LM, and I'm doing a course on Notebook LM. But how do you do the integration into multiple other systems internally is also one of those skills. I don't believe I'm aware of a course that says how do I integrate into any kind of system. But if you're building, if you're learning to use Vertex AI, how do you build into connect into other things in the Google Cloud? If you are working, talking to a company and you say, oh, I know Gen AI, I know building agents, I know, all the aspects of it. And they might say, oh, we have this backend system that is sitting on this Microsoft cloud, or it is this system, which is an SAP system. So being able to integrate to that becomes an important skill. Okay, good question. Good answers. So coming back, what is fine-tuning? Fine-tuning in a cost-effective way is important. Using an optimally small LLM. Yes. So coming back, why did I say fine-tuning is important for everyone? So if you're a business person, product person, legal person, anybody, right? So what is fine-tuning? Fine-tuning is how is a way by which you take a structured data set and train the last layer of the neural network. So the LLM, the foundation model, is a neural network, and it has millions and billions of layers of learning. And fine-tuning is how you do a supervised learning using your own data set, and you modify the parameters essentially, right? The learning parameters in the brain of the LLM so that it behaves the way you want. So to Ananya's point, you want it to have a certain tone when it is interacting with your customers. Or if you are, and Fatima, good point, to adapt to a specific domain, right? So if I'm booking a hotel room and want to cancel that, then in hospitality industry, the chatbot should know what is a room. It's not a room as a gaming room. It is a hotel room. There are specific terminologies and jargon that's applicable to that particular industry. And so you need to fine tune for that. Recently, I was involved in helping some group build a chatbot. I was doing a train the trainer program to build a chatbot for a low resource language translation. And this for this language, we didn't build a general purpose data set, but we needed the chatbot to be able to talk to UN services. And so we had to take UN pamphlets and use that data to do the fine tuning of the last layer. So domain specific, if it's talking to an automotive industry, then it needs that. So domain specific knowledge will be in your supervised data set. The tone setting that you're saying, if you want it to behave a certain way. So when you go try to build a GPT and it says, what is the tone? I want it to be polite. I want it to be respectful. Especially the question somebody asked about what LLM you pick that is, ethical. Then if the LLM is trained with data from the internet and it has Reddit threads in its memory, fine tuning will kind of reduce the weight of those answers so that it will not be rude and it will not be racist. So there's a bunch, and there's also a lot of questions on, is fine tuning too much, so that they're controlling the narrative of what the chatbot is saying. So when you talk to ChatGPT and ask it to compare between two things and you say which is better, it will give the comparison, but it will say both are good because it has been fine-tuned to not take a side. I've had experience where I've chatted with Gemini from Google, and it will not answer certain question. Ask Learn LM and talk about patriarchy, and it will say, I'll answer something else. So it is meant in a way that it is supposed to give you, for security, but it also means that it will, kind of control the narrative. Okay. So I want to share one interesting example with fine tuning. Anthropic has this LLM called Claude. And recently there was some news that technologists who are, coders are gravitating towards Claude as their preferred LLM. I don't know if this is substantiated. I just read that in the news. And as part of it, I found that Claude has a certain personality that they have trained, which is they've done fine tuning using something called character training. And so they basically said, we want to create a character for Claude to chat with developers or whoever it's talking to be open-minded and have curiosity and avoid psychophantic tendencies. And it should have emotional intelligence, right? These are the traits that they wanted in fine-tuning. And so they must, how do you do fine-tuning? You take a data set and do a round of supervised learning on an existing LLM, in this case, Claude. So question to you, since I'm confidently saying fine-tuning is the one technology every one of you have to learn. I'm not saying your holiday learning list should do only try fine-tuning, but think about this from your job perspective, right? You could learn RAG if your job is to go build these systems. If you're thinking about working with a company and has certain integration into specific cloud, go learn that cloud. I'm not saying you should not, but I want you to think about what is it that you're going to build, go deeper, and everyone has to do fine tuning. Okay. And so think about this. When you read something like this, right, and you say, oh, Claude's personality was trained using character training, and they wanted the traits of open-mindedness, curiosity, and avoiding sycophantic tendencies. If you are the person doing this, if you are the engineer with the R and all the data integration capabilities, who knows to do RAG and who has to do this fine-tuning, what data set would you pick? If you're the business person who's going to build a chatbot and want to make this open-minded and curious, right? what data set would you use? That's why I said, and if you're working in legal, that's all does the same thing also, right? You would say, okay, so what data set am I using, right? So is there any other question, comment? I saw my chat move a little bit. Okay, so what data set would you use? That was my next question. You can again add, so, and there's a bunch of people who are asking about how do I make this ethical? Because I did say that ethical is the right thing, but also you might end up with something that is going to cost you a business risk if your chatbot is kind of yelling at people or telling them, being racist or saying things that is going to get your company sued, right? So what data set would you use? So one question I had is, I want you to think about this. If you leave this holiday learning plan and you say, hey, Sudha said learn one topic for 1 hour, and she spent a lot of time trying to tell us that fine tuning is important regardless of job function, and I found out that Anthropic is doing, character training. It's doing fine tuning for character training. What data set would you use? So the reason I said ask a question is, if you just go and say, I want to learn fine tuning, I'm sure you will find a lot of courses. And I gave you my LinkedIn learning course link, and I will add that in the resources. You don't have to limit it to my course, but you go put any keyword, you're going to find a bunch of courses. So you could learn a fine tuning class that will help you do, for specific domain, or how to you do this using Python or R, or things like that. I don't believe it's easy to find one which says how do you find the right data set, because you're going to bring your business acumen and build the data set. You're a product person, you're going to chase down the person who understands the nitty-gritties of supervised data sets. For like, it's like, in previously machine learning, we would learn how to do machine learning and various different types of machine learning models and stuff. But then when it came to actually make it work for a customer, you needed to do feature engineering. You needed to know what columns to keep, what no columns to add in your data, right? It's like that. So that's where fine tuning brings it to the business world, to the product world. Forces a conversation between the data scientist and the business side of the world, that kind of thing. So think about this. When you see something like this, you go, how do I do this? And then try that out, right? So what data set would you use? So the question is, I'm going past the character training. So if you want your fine-tune your model to, to be ethical, which most everybody here wanted, that's a skill. Do you know it from whatever courses you have taken, whatever work you have done, whatever you have learned of your Gen AI so far? Do you know what data set would you use for fine tuning? Again, you can tell me if and the fine tuning could be for safety, it could be for culture. So let me see if I have it here, because I had some of these ready for you in case you wanted it. So there are data sets you will find just for, adding safety to your LLM. Just hallucination prevention, I have not seen. I think for hallucination prevention, you have to have some techniques for hallucination prevention. It cannot be just that. Okay, I'm just seeing there's a bunch of comments maybe on LinkedIn, so I just want to see whether I'm missing anything. Responsibility. Sorry. Okay. So I just want to make sure, if in case I'm missing it, whether there's questions here. LinkedIn prevention, LinkedIn makes me reload this, guys. Okay. I think I'm not seeing anything related to this on the data set. So my question was, what data set would you use? If you go on any kind of Gen AI job and they say, we want you to build ethical AI. And you say, yeah, I can do that. And I will, fine tune any LLM. And I can do that. So the question you should ask is not jump in and look for a data set. You should say, what are we fine tuning for? The discussion we had, like Ananya was saying, are we setting it for tone? And then you would need a data set that would actually identify various tones, and then you can do the fine-tuning supervised learning. If you are going to be actually doing that, maybe you need to learn hands-on how to do that. If you are doing this for a domain-specific knowledge, like Fatima was saying, then you say, what domains are our customers in? That kind of thing. So one of the other data sets that I have seen in use is for there's a whole concept of red teaming for large language models. And even, lot of many big companies have like a whole board of people who are helping with red teaming so that the AI is not harmful, right? So this is a paper, and this is from paperswithcode.com, and this is called harmful QA. So it basically is like a benchmark for LLM safety, but it is also an alignment data set. So you can actually use this data set. It has about 10 different topics. So basically a data set that you're using for fine tuning is going to have like a question and answer, or, if somebody asks this, say this. So if the customer says, tell me, why patriarchy exists, your LLM can say, ask me about something else. So it's as simple as that. So when you get into the crux of it, that's what the questions you're creating. So they've created like 1,960 harmful questions to evaluate the models. So you could have like what the answers are. In this case, it's more using for evaluation. You could use that for fine tuning also. So any other question on this? I'm kind of, I know I have lots to cover, but I want to make sure that this topic of fine tuning, finding a data set, and understanding your role with fine tuning, that we have covered. That is a very, very important topic. I definitely would recommend that you look at that. So the other thing is, if you're saying, hey, I want that large language model to understand cultural differences, how would I do that? So again, there is a paper on that called Culture LLM. This is a huge topic. This is actually an area that I'm working and focus on a book in the coming year. And this is something that you could actually say. And that would also, for starters, if you have customers in various countries, in various cultures, and you want your model to be aware, then you might want to fine tune it for that kind of data set. So that is the thing I'm saying. If you pick one technology, I think like we were talking, based on your job role, you might want to do RAG and integrations, and picking the right LLM. The kind of questions that you are all asking is all legit, but I also think that you should learn the whole idea of fine tuning, not just, a quick course on fine tuning, but understanding fine tuning at a very fundamental level, I think is an important topic. And let me go to the next thing. So we started with, okay, pick one topic. So my recommendation was pick one topic and just do that. So now I have a question for you, and quickly write in the chat, what is your top challenge? So suppose you can find a course, you can just learn anything, and I'm saying just learn for 1 hour in the holiday season. And now I've helped you think about what kind of topics you want to learn, and where to go pick them, right? I would recommend LinkedIn Learning, because there's a lot of courses in there, not just my course, right? So, and if you're used to any other course platform or anything, that's fine too. Okay. But the question is, what is stopping you? What are your challenges? So one of the things I hear from many people is that you have no time. You're short on time. How many of you feel that is your real challenge in learning, especially if you're coming to the holidays and saying, I'm going to be busy with the holidays, but I'm going to have some time to kind of, not have meetings and think about where am I going, and, develop my own skills. So that could be a thing. Then what do? Right? So let me show you one of my students, Khadija. Let me see, Khadija. Let me go back to sharing my screen. I should not stop the sharing at all. Okay. So many of you feel like, not having time is the important thing. So I'm going to show you what Dija says. And the next thing I would say, if you have to drop off on time, you can come back and finish the rest and see. The next thing I would say is, whatever topic you pick, you should build a project. It could be a research publication. And recently, I just came back from NeurIPS. This is one of the sections of our wall, and we had Bello Tukur, who actually worked with me, and he had built a translation model, the project I was telling you about, where he fine-tuned a model. So the fine-tuning is not just for the chatbot, right? The fine-tuning could be in machine translation. You can teach an LLM whole different language by giving the new data set of that language. That's how fine-tuning is used in machine translation. So he did fine-tuning for 3 African languages on the same foundational model. And to Ananya's question, picking the right LLM was one of our challenges. We started with GPT-2, then we switched to Llama, then we switched to T5. So based on what end goal you're trying to achieve, in this case, we were trying to get language translation, and we want to build a general purpose language translation model for multiple languages. And we did fine tuning. But I'm giving a shout out to Bello here, because it's not just Bello was an engineer with Python and and LLM and knew to do this, but he presented a research paper at NeurIPS, and he ended up building something. I'm going to share these as follow-up, just so that I'm not taking up time. I met this student, Anine Kane from West Africa, and she said, my passion is to solve for local drought problem, and I built an ML model on that. So things like that. So one, you pick a topic. We went through how do you add a question, and we arrived at fine tuning, and we arrived at a lot of technologies that you were saying about learning RAG and integration and hallucination prevention. And guiding founders on building the right AI product with the right set of questions and things like that, right? And then we spent a lot of time on fine tuning for data set for ethics, for safety, for language translation, right? So the second step is you build something with it, right? Join a community, like in WeeklyWed, actually launched a new thing called WeeklyWed Pro, where you can be part of a community and you can actually go build a project. So I urge every one of you, while you finish up learning something, just don't do the project, because they all have some kind of project that you do, and you will take a quiz, and in 1 hour you will pass that, right? In all my LinkedIn learning courses, I have 2 or 3 hands-on courses with no code AI that you would build to get your certificate, right? But you can finish the course in 1 hour. So it's not too much, too complicated. But the idea is build something from that, right? So the third thing I would say is, you can connect your different worlds. So again, I want to know, before you leave, if you come from different industries, what are your different worlds? Is it a specific country? Is it a specific domain area? Is this a specific industry? So if you want to learn AI, career pivot, get a job, apply that in your learning, improve your career. It's not enough if you just take a course. It is not enough if you just build something theoretically. You have to connect it back to what you bring to the table. So tell me, like, for example, I'm going to tell you, like, my world, right? I have taught autonomous vehicles. I chase self-driving cars. I love the topic. I would go back to that any day. And then I have been teaching LLMs and Gen AI and Agent AI, and I have courses on that on LinkedIn and everywhere else, right? And I talk to companies and my students about how do you create value with data in this world of Gen AI, right? And I teach AI ethics. So I have multiple worlds of AI ethics. I have, the LLM world, autonomous vehicle world. So I came up with a research poster at NeurIPS at Global South in AI, thinking about how does the self-driving car do disengagement when it does not, when it has reached this learning limit, the self-driving car says, okay, human driver, take over control, and that's disengagement. And then I noticed in LLMs, they have something called model refusals. You'll be talking to a chatbot, and it goes back to the same topic of fine-tuning, and the chatbot says, I can't answer that question on patriarchy. I don't know, right? It doesn't say I don't know, but it will deflect it or it will hallucinate, right? But the model refusal is when it does not give me an answer. And so I started thinking, can the LLM learn from the autonomous vehicle? In both cases, it looks like the AI has the agency, but in one case, it is disengaging, giving control to the human and for their own safety. In another case, it says, I can't talk to you about this topic, ask me about something else. And so I was just thinking, how, whether the LLM can learn from autonomous vehicles. So this is a topic I put together as a research poster, and I'm going to build that further to see is there something more in there that I can build out into a paper, a product, a course, and teach something, do something with it. So this is an example where I brought two of my worlds together. So that is what I'm suggesting that you should do. Okay. And I think I had a list of resources listed here, the harmful QA that I showed you, the culture LLM I showed you. This is my LinkedIn learning course. I actually have put together, my team has put together a bunch of our on-demand content from Agent AI that we have done in the past year. And, from multiple different speakers and instructors, and created a whole Master Agent AI quick course that you can learn if that's, or you can go to my LinkedIn learning course and take a 1-hour course, or you can, learn this on-demand course if you don't want a certificate and you just want to learn Agent AI at a advanced level, not just the foundation. You want to hear about multi-agents, and you want to hear about how to use Agent AI in digital twin, and it's an advanced course, and this is the Master Agent AI course that's available. And then what we've done is, you can join a community, you can be part of this Weekly Wed community. And when you go to Weekly Wed, I've launched a whole pro community where you can follow up, come to our Slack group and have a conversation and do something, right? And you can, work with each other. And so in all my slides, I've been showing the Business School of AI. I'm just going to put that here. Business School of AI. The easiest thing is, you can go to Business School of AI. That's my student community on LinkedIn, or, all my courses and my community resources and everything is here in Business School of AI on Teachable. Let me just show you that link. So like many of my other courses are here from the past also. So you can find the Agent AI course that I was telling you about, the advanced topics on Agent AI. If that is your thing, you can learn that here. Or the Weekly Wed that you sign up, that is not added here. The Weekly Wed that you signed up comes from bit.ly/Weekly Wed registration. This is where you signed up. This is how you got the Zoom link. So come back to Weekly Wed. We would have a speaker and a conversation. Tell us if there's some topic that you want to learn. If you find that a course is not enough and you want to do more, we can do that. And you will get to be part of the Zoom link if you sign up here and come in. And we've launched a new pro version, $29 a month, and you can be part of the community, get more recorded talks and reading material on specific topics as a follow-up. So these are things that I offer, and you're welcome to pick any community, but I urge you to be part of a community, not isolate yourself. Pick a buddy so that you can learn with somebody. And go build something, go hands-on, go deeper, think about how you're going to apply that and connect your various worlds. Those are my recommendation on how you can utilize this holiday season time to actually get somewhere. Again, when you're building this, everybody thinks about courses. So I would say, create a learning plan which has specific dates that holds you accountable. So first 3 months, you have to form an opinion on a topic, right? It's when you take a course, you kind of like learning something. I see students come back and take the same course or topics again and again and again because they've not gone to the next level. So you have to get to the jargons and courses and, start a project. Do that for in the holiday season. This is the easiest thing you can do, right? Pick a topic. And I've given a lot about fine tuning in various dimensions. So you could go to LinkedIn Learning and find fine tuning. Usually fine tuning is given with a dash. So fine dash tuning. Only then you find the right courses. Otherwise, you'll find something else. And then, you get to a place where you say, okay, I've done a bunch of these. If you've already done agent courses, you could do the master agent AI course, which covers advanced level. Then you say, okay, I have opinions. I think I know this stuff. Then express your opinion. So don't continue to take more and more courses with me or anyone. If you've done courses, if you're confident, try to build a project with a buddy as part of a community or with a friend, right? And you can say, hey, we learned together in this holiday season. What are you learning? And let's hold each other accountable. Then you express your opinion, write LinkedIn post, or comment even in Slack groups if you want it to be private. And pick your learning community, right? My community is on Business School of AI. They are either on LinkedIn or, with the Weekly Vet Pro, they are on Slack. And then I would say it takes about 6 months to get to a level where, your opinions are substantiated and you can have conversations and get somewhere with equal peers, right? And then you start building your portfolio. And then if you start building a project right away, I think you can have the beginnings of it in 3 months, but I find that people don't have the confidence unless they're doing enough of that, right? And if you want to do a research publication, it would definitely take that time, right? You start building out a poster, see where the calls are. In my newsletter, I put out those calls, right? We actually send out what the open call opportunities are for grants, for research publications, for even communicating your comment and opinions. There are calls in lot of AI ethics policy forums, right? And if your technologies, build your work, put it on open source, put it in GitHub. Don't apply for a job without a GitHub link, especially if you're going for a data science or engineer job. That is my thing. I already told you about Weekly Ved, and you can find me and connect with me. I would love to help you. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. And before we go away, I just want to show you a minute of Khadija's her message on how she found time, because I found that very inspiring. Okay. And if you have any last minute question, I'm happy to answer that too. So I think we added Khadija's. So this Master Agent AI course that I was telling you, collection on-demand course. If you go there at the bottom is this Khadija's email that I'm going. I keep saying email, video that I'm going to show you. This goes for.
I'm Khadija. I'm a senior counsel for technology transactions at currently at Rivian.
Lawyer student.
Yeah. So that's what I do. I'm obsessed about cars, about technology, and everything AI. I would say this area of business of self-driving cars, autonomous vehicles, was something that I was very, very interested in. When I saw that Stanford was offering this course through Sudha, I immediately was curious about it. And the fact that I joined this, I think, has helped me tremendously, because Sudha not only gives you the content needed for the course, she pushes you to think outside the box. And I think for me, that was the biggest takeaway from the course. Well, I would just layer on top of my previous answer for that. And I think more than confidence, it is, like I said, she pushes you to think outside the box. So that, in a way, pushes your own confidence, because then you're relying on your abilities versus someone else telling you something else. And I think Sudha does a very good job of that. Well, more than surprising, I think it just reiterated what I wanted to do. I was kind of in this cross paths in my life where I was trying to figure out how to progress my career. And I think taking that course really clarified my thinking in the industry with which I wanted to work and where I wanted to move my career forward.
How do you make time?
That's a good one. So when I took the course in 2017, I was working for a startup. I was working like crazy. I was working weekends. I had a young child, and I thought it was impossible to find time to make the course. So when I first registered for the course, I thought I'll go for one class and then I'll figure it out and either drop out or, you know, out of curiosity, at least I wanted to go visit the Stanford campus and visit the course once. The moment I walked out of the class, I was so much re-energized that I found babysitting for my son. I found ways in which he would be taken care of for those few days I went in person. At that time, it was in-person classes. And I can tell you that it was 100,000% worth it. Time is not there. You have to make time, is what I would say. Yeah, so what I would say is AI is the future. Sudha comes with a solid background in terms of content and with the terms of the leadership and the kind of professor I would blindly go attend any course she does only because of what she brings to a class of students. When you talk about a class that is talking about the future of technology, the existing technology that is growing in a way that is unbelievable, I think going with Sudha, you wouldn't regret it. That much I can tell you.
I love my students. Now you know why I love my students. Okay. With that, I'm going to wrap up. I'm not seeing any more questions. I hope you would have a beautiful holiday season. I actually wish you have a beautiful holiday season.
Thank
And
you so much.
thank you so much. And this deck that I shared with you, I will actually post it on Weekly Wed. And I hope to see you all. So we'll be taking a break for the holidays for next 2 weeks. And after Jan 6th, that Wednesday is when we will meet again. And tell us, come to our Slack and tell us what you're learning, and definitely find a buddy. And if you're not part of my community, if you're watching this, find a buddy, find a community. And I recommend taking courses from LinkedIn Learning, not just because I'm teaching there. I'm very, very selective about who I associate myself with. And I can tell you the passion and the caliber of people. This is the link. If you go to linkedinlearning.com/learning is where you get here. And they also have a LinkedIn Learning app. These are my courses, but you can go and find anything. You can say fine tuning, since we were talking about fine tuning. And it could be for models, it could be advanced prompt techniques like somebody was talking about, right? It could be for various different use cases, and you will be able to find a course. You will even find some clip of courses, videos from some of my own course also might show up here, right? Things like that, and different levels of technology, specific integrations that you were talking to, right? But you have to actually find a data set, a use case, build a project, work with a buddy. That's when you go deeper. So I would recommend pick the topic, find the 1 hour time and learn the topic, either from LinkedIn Learning or where other sources that you are familiar with. Find your community. If you want to come to Business School of AI on LinkedIn or to our Slack group, come to Weekly Wed as a regular community, but find a buddy, learn and build some project. And then let's go deeper. Remember, you already come with experience. You already come with your capabilities. You come with your passion, and AI and Gen AI and the newest technology jargon that you would hear tomorrow might look like it's new, but it's not. You're the one who's going to shape that. If you have that mindset, then you can go learn whatever you want and do something amazing. So I wish you well and happy holidays. Okay, I will see you in the new year. I'm going to stop the recording. And if you are watching this on LinkedIn, feel free to add a comment. I'll come and check and see if I can answer questions, or somebody else might use part of the community